Welcome everybody. We're kicking it off finally on short notice. Our December town hall event. I'll give it maybe a couple more seconds for some people to come by if they so choose. However, I think the audience isn't going to be as packed today, considering that I think World Cup's starting soon as well. And in general, it's an awkward time slot, on top of it being announced very late. So, no worries though. We've got a small little agenda for today. Nothing really came up in this past month that was of great relevance or urgency, I would say. So, we're gonna just have some general chats here. These four topics that you see on the screen right now are everything that I've planned for today. So, unless somebody comes by and has some other questions or takes for us to include, that's going to be all that we're going to be hitting on today. So, without further ado, to get this one rolling, I'd say let's start looking at our first point here of order for today, and that's going to be the Elo survey or poll results from last month. Let me pull them up for you guys real quick so you can check them out for yourselves. It was an interesting poll, I would say. It was quite surprising to me how it ended. So that's what we've got. You can see right there. We didn't get a lot of participation, 16 votes coming in, and one of those is, again, Lib voting twice, as he apparently tends to do in all these polls. So we've got 15 actual votes, and you can see the distribution right there. It is interesting. I really thought people. Well, it feels to me personally that the elo changes really a lot after every game, but apparently that isn't the case in most people's opinion. So that is interesting. However, due to it only being 15 actual votes that were being sent in, and the result being as it is, that way over half of those, almost 2/3 of those, feel like actually exactly 2/3 of those, if you discount Lib's second vote, feel like the system is right as it is. I don't see a lot of reason to change anything here. It is an interesting one though. So because really what I thought is that there was a lot of fluctuation, and that's what Kismic said as well. Remember last month, that's what we had, what we ended up making this poll for, because we thought maybe it was common sentiment in the community that the elo changes were a bit too much. But no, that's exactly not. That's exactly the opposite of what's going on here. Some people feel like elo changes too little, and then the vast majority feels like it's exactly right as it is. So that was a big surprise to me, the way that it shook out in the opposite direction there. But anyhow, it was a good poll to have, I think. There's still quite a few complaints about the elo system every now and then, but apparently fluctuation doesn't seem to be one of those complaints. So good to know, I guess. Maybe we can look at other flaws that people perceive within the elo system that we're using and think about changing those in the future. But that's that for this one. I wonder if anybody's got any opinions on this, if people in chat would like to comment, or anybody would like to call in here and give their opinion on how this poll is garbage or exactly right, then you're welcome to do so. But really, I don't have many more opinions on this one, because it's pretty clear-cut in my opinion, and despite being surprising, I don't have any issues with just accepting the sentiment that the community seems to Aber. Alright, as usual, giving it a couple more seconds for people to maybe chime in and react with their own opinions towards this poll result. It is the poll from 1 month ago, so maybe people don't have it as fresh in the mind anymore. Otherwise, I'll start transitioning to topic number 2. Alright, so that would be us moving on to point number 2 then. There goes our poll data. Hope you guys took a good look at it. There we go, talking about topic number 2 then, which is gonna be the issue of how reporting of ladder games should take place. This is one I chose to include very spontaneously here because just yesterday or 2 days ago or something, there was small discussion about this. Nothing major. This isn't like a common problem that we face, but I thought it was interesting to think about for a bit and maybe exchange some opinions about, because it is quite interesting. It tends to happen quite often that people report games the next day, maybe 2 days after even, but that's usually as far as it goes. But apparently the other day there was a report from way back that ended up being made. I don't even know what exact game they were referring to and how far in the past that supposedly was, but it ended up getting accepted as a report pretty much on a 2 versus 1 vote by the players. There were 2 players in that game that said, yeah, they remembered it happening, and then one guy said, I don't think this can be right, and the game ended up getting reported. Now, my personal opinion on stuff like this is, I don't think we need a rule for this, because it barely ever happens. But just for the fun of it, if there was a rule, my opinion would be that, in general, for any normal report, you would have to report it within, let's say, 2 days, 48 hours of the actual game. That makes sense. And then I would say you can report games that were further back in case you just simply forgot or didn't have the time or whatever. You can make reports that are further back, but in those cases, I feel like if somebody complains about those, then you need to bring evidence. Like, you need to either bring screenshot evidence of the game happening, and ideally of it being won by your team as well, or maybe if like a certain amount, maybe 1 or 2 players of the losing team say, yeah, I remember this game happening, maybe you can, yeah, I guess, I'm not sure if I'd like that, but maybe in that case you would also be fine. But I feel like since 90%, 95% of games are reported within 48 hours, that would be a good bar to set, in my opinion. And any game that's further back than that, you'd have to, yeah, you'd have to get concrete evidence if somebody, in fact, ends up complaining about your report. So I think that game that was reported the other day shouldn't actually have been counted, because like if you go that far back and then 2 players or corroborating one part of the story and another guy disagreeing. I know that matter was settled pretty much based on reputation. People said, oh yeah, these 2 guys, we trust them, and that one guy, you're a bit of a shady guy, so I didn't think that was quite right, and I think Lib got a little bit wronged there. I think not even a little bit, I think he just got flat out wronged there. Because not that I don't trust the other 2 guys, it's just that you can't bring a report from so far back without anything, right? Without at least like have 6 of the 8 players of the game agree, have 6 of these players corroborate your story. Fair enough, I guess, in that case, but That's how I view it personally. I don't think this is a big problem. I don't think we need a rule here. But if we did decide to make a rule, maybe if this ends up getting abused going forward, then I think you should really think about a rule with a 48-hour cutoff, after which you have to bring evidence if somebody contests your report. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. Again, if there's any opinions from chat, from the YouTube viewers as well, let me know. I think it's a really interesting topic. The only issue is that it is such a small topic that it might not even be worthwhile discussing or debating about. But if you've got any opinions, if you think my suggestion is garbage, if you think we do actually need a rule here, maybe that can be our poll for next week, for next month actually. Maybe I'll put that up as a poll. Let me note that down really quick. I think that could be an interesting poll. Do we need a rule clarifying how much time you have to report a game without supplying evidence? A poll somewhat along those lines I think could be cool. So I noted it down. I think I'm gonna be putting that up after the town hall later today. So yeah, looks like no people around that are passionate about this kind of topic. So I'd actually move on again to topic number 3. We're at the halfway point here in terms of topics, at least. I'll give it a couple more seconds for people to chime in, give their opinions if there's any of that sort. But I'll prepare to move along to the next topic as usual. I guess maybe it's difficult to word this one even for the headline. Let's put it like this. Looks like no more issues on topic number 2. So there we go. Topic number 3, and I've got the quote, the exact quote that Kittey has brought forward right here with me. I'll read it out to you. Here you go. I'll just pull it up because it's so small on my screen. Excuse me for that. Kittey says, also, can you please talk about the homophobia in the CIV chat? There's a lack of LGBTQIA+ advertising for MPT games compared to advertising that caters to a CIS het male audience. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce all these terms, especially in English, so excuse me if I got any of those wrongs. However, that's an interesting topic overall. Well, maybe it is. I'm not sure if it is. But Kittey wanted me to give a opinion on it, so I'll do that. So she's kind of saying two things here. She's saying that there is advertising for games that is catering to a cis het male audience, and then she's saying that there's no advertising catering to other audiences, and that being based on, well, or that constituting homophobia or a lack of representation. For the title of the topic, I chose to kind of take the flame out of it, the sting out of it, because it is pretty drastic choice of words here. Homophobia. I don't think I'd go that far. I agree on the first part that 99% of the advertisements are either non-sexual in nature. Ivan comes to mind for MPT games, and specifically referring to MPT games is Kittey here. So yeah, Ivan falls under that category where his adverts are usually non-sexual in nature, unless I'm forgetting any. But he's got pretty good adverts, so respect for that. But yeah, the majority of those that are sexualizing, of course, 99% of those are, as Kittey calls it, catering to a cishet male audience. I'm not sure like exactly how you define that, but I get what she means, of course. It's typical cliche hot women posing for attention to get people to join MPT. Now, Kittey has said in the past that she acknowledges the value of those adverts because it catches the predominantly male eye of the community and makes them think about joining in MPT. So I agree there. That is probably a kind of effective form of advertising, although I'm not really a marketing expert here. So I agree there, but now Kittey's taken it a step further. She has in the past acknowledged the value of those ads, but now she's saying should also be ads catering to other audiences. And in that case, I would say no, not actually. Or, well, I wouldn't say there shouldn't be, but the fact that there aren't any is not a problem to me, and here's why, right? Because these advertisements are chosen to be put out by the hosts of the lobby or some other people in the lobby, and they are presumably, right, because they are putting out the advertisement, they are the advertiser here, they are advertising to people, to exactly those people that they want to have in their lobby. If they believe that there's only CIS hat males in the CIV3 community, or if they only want to play with those people, then them advertising to those people is fair game, is what they're entitled to do. And I personally would also agree that that is probably the most effective way, right? Because we've got concrete examples of this. A month or two ago, Kismic did put out advertisement that was very much in the LGBTQIA plus camp, and not sure if it was effective or not. I can't speak to that, but people reacted quite weird to it, and that was expected, of course. But it was a one-time thing, kind of. Right? He did it for like 1 or 2 days, I think, and that was that. So advertisement like that has existed. It just hasn't been used again. I can't speak to the reasons for that, but it is an interesting one just because we have tried this, and also because it's kind of like an interesting philosophical angle there. So I think no, it's not an issue if you want to target a certain group of players. Targeting that group is not an issue to me. Now you could hypothesize. You could make the case that maybe they only want to play with those players, or they only advertise to those players because of homophobia, because they don't want to play with anybody that's not CIS het male. Maybe I don't have a clue, but I would be very hesitant to make that jump unless you've got any evidence here, Kittey, that suggests that people that make these barely dressed women advertisements, and unless you've got any evidence that the people making those are like homophobic in nature, say homophobic stuff in nature. I wouldn't call it that word. That's just a bit of a reach to me. You can say that there is no representation, no diversity in these advertisements, especially for LGBTQIA+. Fair enough. That is, I'd say that is factual. I don't think we need that. Well, maybe we need that. I don't know if we need that. Maybe there is a market for those advertisements. Maybe you could fill games if you made more diverse advertisements. Some for the CIS hat male group, and then some other advertisements too. I don't know about that, but the bottom line to me is that that's not an issue that has anybody that wants to make those advertisements is free to make them, right? So we don't really need to. It's interesting to talk about it, to raise awareness of it. Sure, I think it's good to acknowledge that, yeah, there is actually just people advertising with soft porn images of women, and that's that. But again, I don't think you can claim that that's for sure based on homophobia. And I also don't think we should be trying to enforce anything there. Maybe you want a policy of no sexual advertisement at all. Doesn't seem like community wants that, but if it did, fair enough, right? But forcing diversity here in advertisement, I don't think makes any sense, right? Because people advertise for their case, for their product, for their need. So yeah, no, I don't think any reasonable argument would be forcing diversity into that. So that's my thought on this topic. It's an interesting one to acknowledge, to talk about. Don't think there's much to act upon here. Still, just like I said to Kismic 1 or 2 months ago when he started making his what's called his homosexual, or not, well, I guess his male body targeted advertisements. I encourage people to do that. I told him that, and I'll still tell everybody that. If you want to target other groups with your sexual advertising, then do that. It's all good with me. I'm not a chat moderator anyways, right? I'm just giving my opinions here. So yeah, everybody do put out the advertisements that you want, unless they're nuts. You're good to go. If they're nuts, we'll have to, yeah, probably gonna get removed, and that's an issue then. But no, in general, put out the ads that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in the world. That's it. General good thing to go by, I think. All right, that's all on topic number 3 for me. Still, as always, going to give it a couple more seconds for people to chime in, to make a call, and if they want to talk about this as well. Otherwise, I'd be moving on to our last official topic for today. So, yep. Do give your opinions now or be forever silent. All right. It does look like it's not much debate on this one. So we'll move on to topic number 4, which is the last one that I scheduled here for today. It is a Suede topic. I'll put it on the screen for you guys right here, so you can read the quote as well. Of course, I'm going to read it out too for those that maybe aren't at their screens right now or whatever. All right, that's what we got. So, Suede says, his hot take, as he calls it, things are working reasonably well here in the ladder and the community is in good shape. People complain about some things and there's some merit, but none of them get in the way of having good competitive games. So what Suede is saying isn't that we've got no issues and that everything should be unchanged, but he's saying there's no need for massive change, and while complaints are valid and will always exist within any society, within any group of people, there's nothing that's really inhibiting the purpose of the community, which is to create ladder games. I agree with the general sentiment here, of course, because I've said this before as well. Don't think we require drastic change. But during the last 2 town halls, I have repeatedly said that if you are of the opinion that we require drastic change, that you would first have to change the system itself. The lawmaking body, the authorities, the hierarchies, whatever. You'd have to change that first, because under this current system, you're not getting drastic change, I don't think. So that's what I said. That's what I feel, at least. Suede, having set up the general structure of this current system, is no surprise to me that he thinks it's working well. Well, actually, you can't really correlate that, right? Because just because he set the system up doesn't mean that he has to like the result of which. So maybe that's actually not really a correlation. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Although people would accuse him of that, right? That he just wants to keep the system around that he's created. But that actually doesn't make any sense, at least not in this context where he's talking about the results of his system. So yeah, in general, I agree. Now, the issue, or well, the point where I would diverge from what he's saying here, because this is a bit narrow in its well, I'll explain what I mean. Suede is saying that the community is in good shape. I think what he's referring to there is the amount of active players we have, the amount of games that we have. That is entirely subjective, right? I mean, whether or not you're okay with the amount of games that are going on, I can't really compare it because I haven't been around for like 5 years. I can't really compare it to past times. I can't even, of course, I can't compare it to the 2004, 5, 6, 7 times. No idea about the contrast there. But all things considered, from my experience, I'd say yeah, we're in decent shape. Although some people feel like it's trending downwards in terms of players and games and whatever. I haven't looked at the data here. Maybe I should have done that for this episode to prepare. But no, I think it's fine. I would agree with that part too. The second part here is that he says since we're having good competitive games, which is he's implying here that's the goal of the community, that's the purpose, right? Since that is the case, the issues that persist aren't extremely urgent or big. That's kind of the point he's making here. And to that I'll say, well, you're postulating that the purpose of or that the ultimate goal is having good competitive games. Now I'm not exactly sure what's implied there, but that's not going to be the goal for all the players in the community. That is, I could have easily predicted that is the ultimate goal for Suede because that's how he plays, right? And that's, I'd say, less. Just I can't speak for anybody else, but just my feeling is that there's probably like 5 to 15 people in the community, maybe 20. I don't know, 20 players max. I would think that share this sentiment. That would agree that the ultimate goal is having good competitive games. Again, whatever that exactly means, but the competitive aspect here is key, because many people just come here to play CIV3. Others just come here to play CIV3 with their friends, and others come here to, I don't know, just play video games and talk some shit, right? So it's different agendas here, and for some people with different agendas, there are issues that are inhibiting those agendas, right? Because if you're the prime example of this, of course, is Lib. Again, he says he just wants to play CIV3, but there's quite often times where he complains about not being able to get in games. Now, from that point of view, absolutely, the state of the community inhibits his goal of, well, his purpose for participating in the community, which is to get CIV3 games. So I can't agree with the conclusion that's drawn here 100%. Or at least I can't say that it's a universally applicable one. That's what I'd say. So no, I think there's still stuff that we should be working towards changing. I'm glad to hear that we're in a good spot for the people that are here to play good competitive games. That's nice. But I think that there's quite a few people who think the community is in a difficult to annoying to dangerous spot, and their goals, their purpose for participating in the community might not currently be met. So I think we should keep that in mind. Nice to hear that there's people for whom it works, though, of course. Personally, I don't really have big issues right now. I do have some issues that make it a bit difficult at times, but overall, I share the sentiment that we kinda get what we want out of the community, or I kinda get what I want, is what I'd say. Again, as always, open to different takes here. People can comment their opinions. I know that this is such a general topic. Everybody has an opinion on this, but yeah, if you feel like you've got an interesting angle, let me know. You can still call in if you want to if you want to let me know something or shed some light on your side of the story. Anything, and of course, for all these topics, if you've got a very different angle, something that can't easily be summed up in like 3 or 4 sentences, then feel free to let me know that you want to discuss it next month in the Moderator Town Hall for January. So you can still call in then and we can discuss any of the topics that we've discussed in the past if you feel like you've got an interesting different kind of angle that I haven't touched on before. That all being said, it looks like we're about to wind down here. I'll be transitioning to the last topic, which isn't really a topic. I've just added this as kind of the outro part of the stream, like we had it last month as well. Doesn't look like there's anybody keen on commenting on the last topic here at this point, so I'll transition. There we go, that's a good headline. So, final part of the stream. We've talked everything regarding community and moderation. Now I just want to give you guys, again, a small reminder that in February of next year, so that is like 8 weeks from now actually, I'll be hosting my next tournament for the community. It's going to be taking place February 13th to 19th. That is 1 week, Monday through Sunday. We're going to be playing 1 game per day, 2 games on weekends. So that's 9 games in that 1 week. And it's going to be a 2 versus 2 versus 2 MPT tournament. So that's going to be great fun. I've announced this on YouTube a couple of days ago. If you haven't checked the video out, please do so. I'll post the link in chat. Oops, what is it? Looks like my bot isn't fully functional right now. In any case, I guess I'll manually post the link in chat. Here we go. So that's what you guys have to look forward to. You can apply to play in the tournament until late January, so please join. It's going to be great fun. I just wanted to advertise the tourney once more at the ending of this December town hall. January 22nd is when the sign-up period ends. It's going to be great fun. It's going to be almost actual MPT. Very, very little changes. Again, find out everything that's relevant in the link that I've posted in the Twitch chat. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just click on my YouTube channel and watch the video before this one. And you'll be all caught up to speed. So it looks like that's going to be it for today. No chat participation. As I said, it was a pretty spontaneous one. And with everything World Cup going on, I think might have already started even. I don't even know. It's understandable. So I hope to get some interesting replies and participation for the next survey that I'll be putting out. I'll be doing the next Moderators Town Hall stream in January. I'll announce the dates, hopefully a little bit further in advance this time around. Sometime in January, we'll see when that's gonna end up being. But so far, so good. Please message me with your topics that you would like me to discuss. Ask me any questions that are relevant to yourself or to the community. And sign up for my MPT tournament if you are interested. Please watch the video first so you know what you're actually signing up for. But I'd love to have as many participants as possible there. Don't be shy. There's no downsides to signing up. And with that being said, I'll thank you guys for watching and giving me your opinions. And with that, I'll see you guys probably next month. Take care, everybody.